Some of you may be familiar with Gabrielle Webster, but I'm just going to do a short introduction. Under Gabrielle's leadership, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, which serves more than 21,000 youth in the DMV, has risen, I like to say, from the ashes. The organization is exceeding financial goals and achieving record accomplishments, which we'll hear about a little bit later. And Gabrielle has been the driving force behind a first ever $30 million comprehensive campaign. Gabrielle also tripled the number of clubs in the metro area, earning the Boys and Girls Clubs the distinction of being among the top 5% of all Boys and Girls Clubs all over the country, affiliates in the nation. And in 2022, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington celebrated, as you may have seen in the press, its first National Youth of the Year in 75 years. Congratulations. Gabrielle is further blazing new trails with plans for a flagship center of transformation at the nation's Boys and Girls Clubs, which will serve as an incubator to pilot and implement innovative programs across local sites and ideally the Boys and Girls Clubs of America movement. Gabrielle has depth of leadership and experience as a nonprofit and public sector professional with a track record of growth. Prior to joining the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, she raised more than $220 million as part of her leadership roles at 3 large nonprofit organizations, which operate here in the metropolitan Washington area. She has served as Chief Development Officer at the United Way of the National Capital Area, as well as National VP for the American Heart Association. And prior to that role, she was Vice President of the Mid-Atlantic Region's Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Before her career in the nonprofit sector, Gabrielle spent more than a decade with Eastman Kodak Company, and she held several leadership positions in marketing, sales, university relations, and engineering technology. And she must have started working when she was 5. Last year, Gabrielle was selected by Washingtonian Magazine as the 2022 Washingtonian of the Year. She earned her Bachelor in Science degree in chemistry from Xavier University, a Master of Physical Chemistry degree from Atlanta University, and she is also a graduate of Leadership Greater Washington program. Please give Gabrielle a warm Rotary welcome.
Good afternoon. It is wonderful to see everyone and enjoy your lunch. I don't have much else to say because Jennifer said most everything. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. But I will expand a little bit. And first of all, and most importantly, I thank the Jelliff Rotary for continuing to support us each year. It is a long-standing tradition and one that we appreciate and just really appreciate your support. Without donors, corporate friends, individuals, etc., we would not have had the success that we've had in recent years. Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington is 137 years old. It is one of the oldest Boys and Girls Clubs in the nation. And in fact, we were one of the organizations that actually got together and created Boys and Girls Clubs of America. So we started first, and I will say we were the first one to officially name ourselves Boys and Girls Clubs and not just Boys Clubs. So we are very, very innovative and forward thinking. I think what I want to spend a little time with today is we are post-COVID somewhat, but I will just say that from 2020 to last summer, even until the fall school year, our youth were tremendously impacted. And I will say it was not in any way, shape, or form a good impact. It was very challenging for young people. In fact, it was challenging for us all. But think about being a child who really doesn't have any control over what's going on, and you take away school, friends, schedules, a routine. And kids do like routine, regardless as to what they tell you. We had to teach them not to share, not to play, not to touch, all of those things. And now all of a sudden they're back in school and you're like, okay, turn it right back on. And it has been a lot. Trauma has been a big issue for many of our young people. And they have come back to us and to school, not just with learning loss, but also with their social skills very much challenged. We have seen a lot of kids bullying now. We have seen kids bringing weapons. We have seen kids fighting. We have seen self-harm. So many things that these young people are challenged with now. And many of our kids had challenges anyway. And so this is actually just adding more on top of an already high bar. People are now saying that it might be 10 years before we really pass the challenges that have presented. You work for a nonprofit, you know. That have been presented to these young people. So all of that to say is programs like Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington are more important now than ever before. You know, you have the third leg of the stool. You've got parents, you've got schools, but then what do kids do when they get out of school at 2 or 2:30? We need to make sure that they have some place to go with youth development programming that includes financial literacy, it includes STEM, the arts, sports, chess club, robotics, so many different things that our kids enjoy. And again, the secret to Boys and Girls Clubs is the fact that kids need to come and have fun so that they will stay and learn. And as Jennifer pointed out, one of the things that we are extremely proud of is that one of our very own, Asha, from the Jelliff Club, right on Wisconsin Avenue, went through the competition of Youth of the Year, and that starts as a very local competition, and then it goes to state, regional, and national. So Asha was selected as the Youth of the Year by Boys and Girls Clubs of America last September in LA. She now represents over 4 million young people in the Boys and Girls Club family and speaks for them nationally. So you might see her. She was at the Super Bowl. She's been, to the World Series, many different events where she represents us. So please be proud of that, and especially since she is right here from DC, from the Jelliff Club. Asha is a freshman at The Ohio State University, where she continues to maintain a 4.0, which she has had throughout school and continues into college. She is into policy and wants to take that and go on to be an attorney and then president of the United States. So I think for all of you all in about 16 years, please vote for her. She will do a great job. I'm not going to speak on politics. I just know she's running, but I tell you, I would trust her with my vote at any moment. She also sings opera, and she is an amazing orator. So I think what's really good about Boys and Girls Clubs right now, just a few things that I think are really important, is we are expanding. So in DC, we have not expanded, but I will say in Prince George's County, we have opened 10 locations in the past year, and we also opened one recently in Fairfax. So when I started at Boys and Girls Clubs in 2017, we had 13 locations. We now have 26 locations, and we also have a virtual program with kids that can participate virtually throughout the country. I think we have 40 kids from 49 different states. So we're either missing Alaska or Hawaii. I'm not sure which one it is. But other than that, we have kids participating throughout. And I think it's important to realize that we want kids to come to us in person. But if you can't, there is still so much to gain, even in that virtual network and the programming that we have. We are almost, we're about 75 to 80% of our kids are back to pre-COVID numbers. Most programs around the country, except Texas and Florida, where they didn't have COVID, they lost, they lost a lot of kids. Yeah. And our numbers went down to about 40%. Because parents were not letting kids out and after school programming. So we are right at about 80% now, which is well ahead of the national average. And I think it really speaks to how important these programs are and the relationships that we've made with others. But as I said, I think next year when fall comes, we will truly be back. But Many people have moved. They've found other things to do with their kids. But I think the biggest thing that we did during COVID is we had our kids in pods so that they could come and take advantage of the broadband that we had available, the meals that we had available so that they could come in and learn. And still, we had programming after school. So many of the kids were with us for 12 or 13 hours a day. And so I look to our staff, who I believe are heroes, because they were taking care of young people when we didn't understand what COVID was. 6 weeks after March 13th, which is when we shut down, we were serving kids again. So I think that really says the commitment that we have to kids, even with our own safety, and not sure how that was going. So things are going well there. We've got ASHA. The other big thing that we have is our $30 million comprehensive campaign. I will say that it's a 5-year. We are about 18 to 20 months in it, and we are at 57%. So we're at 17 million and counting. I say this is the hard part now, but we were a recipient of Mackenzie Scott's generous donations. She looked at boys and girls clubs across the nation, just as she does many other organizations. And we were one of only about 5.5 or 6% of boys and girls clubs, the 1,050 clubs across the nation. She supported us, and we were very, very fortunate to have her select us. But I want you to be proud, because if 6% or less of those clubs were selected and we were one of them, that means we're doing great work. So please be proud of the boys and girls clubs that we have here in our community. One of the major focus areas in our comprehensive campaign, capital and endowment, but we are very, very focused on our programs. Teens especially, teens walk with their feet, and we know young people often have to come, but we need to make sure that we take care of these teens, have programming that's very interesting to them and beneficial for them. I repeat this every time I come, but 98 to 99% of our kids graduate from high school on time, and it's usually around 95% each year that go on to college. Many of them are first generation college students. So there's something special that goes on to give these young people the confidence to do this. It's a big step. So I think we allow them to see what's possibilities, to be able to dream, and then to achieve those dreams. Within our programming, we have a new exciting, innovative program. We call it the Center of Transformation, which is focused on STEM, diversity, DEI, I should say, as well as workforce and advocacy. And we have taken those 4 pillars, created a place as well as a program for our young people, and this is for our teens 14 and over, and they will be focused on global climate change. And this is something that they have inherited and are very interested in. And one thing that I will say, and we've talked to many people in corporate America and government agencies, and they're hearing very little from Black and brown children on this very important topic. And so we feel that we are right at the place that we need to be, so that people can hear from our young people about something that's affecting them, and affecting them more in their communities than others. So, so these young people are excited about this, and we will be having a week-long seminar in June where we're inviting kids from across the country. We'll have 25 or 30 kids from across the country that will come in for that week and spend it in DC so that they can get the opportunity to participate. So interesting things going on, wonderful things happening at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, and I think that we've come out of COVID well, all things considered, and I think that that's important, because some people did not, and more important than ever for us to be here for young people. So with that, I'll say thank you and ask if there are any questions.
thank you for all you do. You fill such an important void, Andy Cook. Question for you. I'm a co-chair of the Food from the Bar effort, which is the effort of the Washington legal community to raise funds for the Capital Area Food Bank.
Oh, okay.
Do you handshake with the food bank in providing food services to your boys and girls?
We work with several different partners. So we're in the DMV, so we're in all counties. So we do things with Capital Area Food Bank, Feed the Fridge, Revolution Foods, but we provide a meal and a snack for kids every day. In the summer during camp, we provide 2 meals and a snack. So we do feed young people because of food insecurities, and try to do things to help them take food home on the weekends too.
Yeah, it's so important. Thank
It
you.
is. Thank you for what you do, because people like you are vital. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here. Good to see you again.
Great to see you.
You made this rebound sound so effortlessly. That is not the case, of course, as we know. It's hard work, dedication, and you just have to keep moving things forward. But why do you think that you rebounded so quickly? What was different about what you're doing here in downtown Washington, D.C. that's different from not just the other boys and girls clubs around the United States, but other youth organizations have that same problem. They're trying to rebound.
Right.
It's been very difficult, but you're doing it. So what would be 2 or 3 ideas about what's made that possible? And thank you for being here again.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for your question. Jennifer mentioned it. 8-10 years ago, we were in a challenging financial situation, and we pulled ourselves up from the bootstraps. And I would say day by day, it looked like no progress, but week by week and month by month, we became a very sustainable organization. And I think that it may sound like I don't know what that really means, but I should tell people I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to fail. And so I think a lot of it is really hard work and doing everything you possibly can to succeed. It's also having great staff that don't give up. We have staff that have been with us 20, 30 years, and I will even say at Jelliff, if any of you all have ever played basketball there, you probably know Bob Stowers. He's been with us 50 years. So Boys and Girls Clubs is very much of a commitment to many people. And so beyond staff, I'd say it's really about the volunteers, people that have continued to support us for many, many years. And then we are part of the community. Our kids, their families, they're our family. And I think it's just, we're necessary and we're needed. And people know who we are and they trust us with their children. Often we're the people that the schools call when something's going on with the kids. So I would say it's a lot of elbow grease and stick-to-itiveness. It's not a word, but you know what I mean. And just plain won't fail. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for being here, Max Salas.
Hi.
I joined the club when I first got here in '95 at the one on 17th and Rhode Island.
Okay.
And, I was sad to see when you guys sold the building or did whatever you did with the building.
Mm-hmm.
I met a lot of good people and great relationships I formed there. I met Donnie there. Is Donnie here? No, he's not here. But, it's thank you for all the stuff you do for the community. My question is, was there a reason for that location was great and now I don't have a place to work out, so I just have to walk and play golf? Thank you.
Well, hopefully your golf game is better than mine. I will say, 15, 20 years ago, financial issues caused Boys and Girls Clubs to sell buildings to utilize those funds to help support us. So when we merged with the Metropolitan Police and the Boys and Girls Clubs, we took on a lot of locations, we took on a lot of debt, and we also had many police officers that used to work with us. That was their job. So we had free labor, basically. But when crime spiked, the police had to go back out and take care of other duties. And we were left with debt, lack of staff, and so forth. So trying to rebound from that was a challenge. So we sold the buildings and did what we had to do. I think that, when I look at our boards and our leadership over many years, they tend to put they put the kids first and the needs of the kids. I just believe that when I got there, there were no other options but to run this like a business. You still keep the same focus on the kids and doing everything you can for them, but you cannot spend more money than you bring in. And that's how we've been able to turn things around. But you're welcome to come and visit us at many other locations. We have many, so there's one near you.
Hello. I am still relatively new to the DC area, but I am not new to Boys and Girls Club. I am a Boys and Girls Club mom.
Oh,
It
nice.
is the reason that I was able to get through college as a single teen mom. Are there any particular stories of the transformational changes that can happen through an entire family that were really important to you?
There are so many, and I'm gonna give you a hug before I leave. You're the reason I do this, because there are so many people that need to leave their kids there so that they can go to school or they can work one job, two jobs, whatever that is, and know their kids are safe. Their stories are too many to mention, but if you talk to any child that goes there, they will talk about the staff being their mentors and how important they are. We have kids from one of our clubs, Murraygate, is in down Route 1 corridor, and most of the kids come from Western Africa, and they have a whole community. Many of them are first-generation Americans for these kids. And all of those kids are able to, it's in their neighborhood, it's a 3-bedroom apartment, but those kids come every day and they have computers and they have people that speak with them and really buoy them up. And all of those kids go to college every single year. And many of them didn't speak English when they came. So, it is very much a community, and we provide for young people what they need, and they come to us however they come. There's no test, there's nothing but a 5 to 18-year-old age grade. We take any kid that comes. So you can imagine what comes through our door, and that's what our staff deal with. Thank you. Congratulations. Excuse me, I got to do this. This is important.
Wait, it's DC. I got to give you a card too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Dr. Sandy. I'm a rookie Rotarian.
Okay.
Rookie.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
First, I want to thank you for all the work that you've done and you continue to do, and the impact on boys and girls. So since you spoke about the Center of Transformation, I think it's an excellent program. But you did indicate that Black and brown boys and girls have not been taking full advantage of this program. Do you guys have any plan to get the word out and make sure that they're taking advantage of it?
I'm glad you asked that because I probably was not clear. About 95% of all of the kids in Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington are Black and brown. So they are the ones that are taking advantage of this program. So across the nation, those 1,050-ish clubs across the nation, the makeup of kids looks different. It looks like whatever that community looks like. So, we have a club in Falls Church, which is totally Latinx. I don't think there are any kids that aren't. Our Jello Club is multicultural, socially and economically balanced. Our Germantown Club is very middle class and very diverse, but we've got 10 new clubs in Prince George's County, which if you ask most people, they would think that would be mostly African American, but I will tell you it's probably about half Latinx and half African American. The look of our geography is changing. So for our particular clubs here, there's mostly Black and brown kids. So they are the ones that are speaking their truths about how the global climate change has been affecting them. And a lot of people think about temperature and weather and floods and fires and things like that, but that's what they see and understand. But our communities have been hit harder for our kids than other kids have. So yeah, thank you for letting me clarify.
So we've been partners for quite some time, but you know, we welcome you. We love having you. We do a check presentation, but how can we elevate and enhance and strengthen that relationship? How can we get involved? As the first Hispanic, you serve so many Hispanics. I want to be involved all over.
And we want you to. So we were trying to work on this together, and then COVID came. So maybe we can reconvene this, because we do have a number of volunteers. In fact, we have thousands of volunteers for Boys and Girls Clubs at our various clubs. And some people come, we have one guy, Mr. Mike in Alexandria, who comes 3 days a week. I thought he was staff for a long time, but he's not. But he has a bike club that he loves to ride bikes, and has found a way to get bikes for the kids, and they ride all the time. We have some people that come in once a year and do a program, or some people that come monthly or do something around college tours, or, you know, resume writing or what have you. So we have a multitude of opportunities at all of our clubs. You can look at them online. You might find one close to work or to your home. And then you can give us a call and find out what you'd like to do. We can do it individually or as groups. So if, you know, if Jollof Rotary says we want to do XYZ, we can try to work on that and figure that out. So there are many ways.
I think we're almost at the end. We had one online question, which I put up there. Are there partnerships with local businesses to provide hands-on work experience? And then Jerry Murphy also wanted to know if you're still working with the Metropolitan Police Department.
Okay. So we do, we have SYEP. So with DC government, for instance, we have young kids that actually work for us. And then many of our young people actually do have summer jobs with us too, often their first work experience. So we partner with organizations depending on if they will allow kids, and I say kids because they're 18 and under, to actually work with their organization. So if that is an opportunity, we will do that. But we do have partnerships with many corporations where our kids will come in and they will do a youth day where they will find out about various jobs and what they do, careers that maybe young people don't think of. I mean, everybody knows teachers, doctors, and whatever, but real estate is big here. So commercial brokers and things like that that they may not really think of or have exposure to in their normal lives. So we do have a lot of corporate partnerships, and I would be remiss to say if anybody really wants to partner with us and support us outside of this, we are certainly open to that. And then, Jerry, I will tell you that MPD, under Chief Conti and Assistant Chief Andre Wright is on our board. He's also a club kid. They have been the most helpful police agency for us. Somebody is always on the board. They are helpful to us. We had a few incidents recently where we had some safety concerns, and they stepped up to actually be there with us. They are at our Ward 7 and Ward 8 locations from 3 to 7 every afternoon to support our kids and our staff. You know, safety is an issue because of where we're located often. So we worry about our kids, but also our staff. So MPD is, I put them at the top of our partnership list.
Very good to hear.
Thank you, yes.
And now I want to invite our immediate past president of our club's foundation, the Rotary Foundation of Washington, D.C., to present our check.
Thank you, President Marilyn. Well, as many of you know, our club's foundation, the Rotary Foundation of Washington, D.C., administers a fund called the Jollof Fund. And it's a fund that was established many years ago by Frank Jollof, a dedicated Rotarian who established a Boys and Girls Club called the Jollof Club. And that was the forerunner to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington today. We administer that fund, and we're able to give a substantial check for many of your costs to continue doing the fabulous work that you do every year. So without further delay, I'd like to present this check for $92,000.
Thank you.
We love being your partner in the community as you deliver these wonderful programs and services. Thank you.
On behalf of the Rotary Club of Washington's DC Trees for the Capital program, I'm pleased to present you with this certificate signifying our commitment to plant a tree in your honor. And maybe last time you spoke, you didn't know, but we're very tech savvy now, and we have GPS coordinates, so you'll know where your tree is.
That is wonderful because you didn't before.
No,
so-
we didn't,
But
but
I saved this. So
But
I'm
now
like,
you
okay.
know. Now you'll be able to search on the National Park website, and it'll show you where your tree is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh,